class. So this is example number 2 from the same lesson, lesson number 4 that we just did. It just is another way that the questions appear, and you just have to solve a little bit differently. So this one says, find the length of the indicated side in triangle ABC. So in this case, indicated side, they didn't say anything. So because there's an X there, that means they want us to solve for that side. We need to label the triangle first. So if we go from angle C, that capital C, across from that is known as the hypotenuse. Okay, also side little c. Over here we have angle B, so across or opposite that angle is known as the opposite. And then over here we have the adjacent side because it's adjacent to the angle. So we'll call that the adjacent. I attached this formula for us just to help us in case we get stuck. First things first, I like to circle what we have and what we are looking for. So over here, they gave us 10.8, so that means that we are going to be using this number. And they also told us that they want us to solve for the indicated side, so they put that X there, so that means we are going to be solving for that side. So if we look at that, we are looking for the opposite, opposite and hypotenuse, not the adjacent. So if we go over here, we do not need cosine because that has adjacent. We do not want tan because that has adjacent. That means we're going to be using the sine formula. So let's write that in. Sine. In this case, because they gave us angle B is 57, we're going to have sine B. Sine B. And the formula is opposite over hypotenuse. So next step is we're going to fill in what we know. So sine, instead of writing a B, we know that angle B is 57. So let's write 57. And then we know that the opposite is 10.8. So we have 10.8. And divide it by the hypotenuse over here. We know that the hypotenuse is X. And from there, we are able to cross multiply. So when we are cross multiplying, if we look here, we do not have anything underneath the 57. So like I said, anything divided by 1 is itself, so we can just add that in, divide it by 1. Now we can cross multiply. So I'm going to keep my equal signs lined up. I like to start with my variable that I'm looking for first. So this is X times 57. So that means X times sine 57. Now sometimes it gets a little bit confusing when you have an X and then a times sign. So sometimes what I like to recommend, you could also put this in brackets. Anything outside of a bracket, if there's nothing in between it, it is assumed that it's multiplication. Okay, so this means the same thing, X times sine 57. Now the other one, on the other side, it's 10.8 times 1, so anything times 1 is itself. So that was easy. Now, we need to solve for X, but right now it is multiplied by sine 57. So in order to bring this sine 57 on the other side, we need to get rid of it. And how you get rid of it is you use the opposite function. So because it's multiplied, what is the opposite of multiply? If you said divide, you are correct. So we're going to divide by sine 57. And if you do it on one side, you have to. That's right. Do it to the other side. So now we have sine 57 divided by sine 57. That goes into each other, so we're left with just a 1. So 1 times X is just X. Okay, because they go into each other. And on the other side, this is where you have to use your forward and backwards calculators. If you have a forwards calculator, you're going to type in 10.8. Then divide it by sine, oops, I put 75 there. It should be 57. Let me just erase that because that could be confusing. Okay, so divide it by sine 57 and then hit equals, and you will get approximately, so I add that squiggly line, 12.9. Now, because they didn't give us any units up here, like centimeters, meters, anything, we just call it 12.9 units. If you have a backwards calculator, you're going to do the 10.8, then divide it by, and then you have to go backwards, 57, and then hit sine. And then you might have to hit equals, and then it will give you the 12.9 units. Okay, so once again, watch this video a couple times if you were having difficulty. And that's the nice thing, you get to pause and rewind as many times as you want. And yeah, if you're still having problems after that, send me an email and I can do my best to help you out. All right, stay safe. Talk to you later. Bye.